if you look at this column K, which is the sales excellence column for the sales BDM in Australia, notice in there minimum of 100 points per day. This is point E, 500 per week activity. What that is talking about, that's a leading BAM, BRAS minimum. And in this case, we designed a point system based on the BAM. So I think from memory, it may have been 10 points for a face-to-face quality call with a qualified prospect, as an example. And but the thing about the points, we also built in here, points for travel. It's very my belief with salespeople or business development people in this respect is you've got to have a realistic understanding of what you're asking them to do. So we built that in here. And then in there as well, you've got under 0.6 measures, $5 million per month, $60 million per year. That's investments brought into the business. Minimum points convert 70% of sales leads, etc. So you can see the difference between leading and lagging. So if we go back to the assessment, so once again, we're doing this every quarter. The first question that we ask is, does the person understand how to succeed in the business? Do they want to succeed? And are they capable of succeeding? Now, this comes from a framework from EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, from their toolbox. And if you see on this tab, it actually defines do they get it? How do you answer? Do they want it? Do they have the capacity? And it comes back to your point, Villa, I think, that not everybody will actually want the job. They're there getting paid. Are they fully engaged? For an A player, we're looking for people who really want to be fully engaged. So there's 3 questions there, and there's the answers, how to answer them. And we rate them 0 to 10. Understands how to succeed, wants to succeed, capable of succeeding. For leaders, we look at level 5 leadership. And this is out of Jim Collins's book, Good to Great. And this is how he has defined the 5 levels of leadership. Interesting enough, level 5, there are very few level 5 leaders. In my 10 plus years being a mentor coach to business owners and CEOs, I've only come across 1 level 5 leader. So when they started, we worked very hard to lift the abilities of the leaders and the way they work. But you can see here, if you've got a manager who is only performing at level 2 contributing team member, they could very well be in the wrong role, or there could be an issue that you need to look at. So based on that, those 4, we assess living the core values, total productivity in their function. So if you look above where the 4 colors up here, the spreadsheet should, I hope, change. So did you notice what happened there?
Yep, change to BC.
Yeah. So the spreadsheet will automatically tell you where they are on your assessment. The other thing here is, notice I'm keeping details of how they ranked last quarter for last full year, because you'll find that their performance and their rankings will change over a year. It could be for all sorts of reasons. If you think about the leader I mentioned earlier, whose husband has cancer, her performance in her role has dropped dramatically because she's got just so much going on personally. And this is how you find that quite often your staff may not have told you about the personal issues in their life. And this is one great way of identifying what's wrong. Why has someone declined? Why have they improved? What's going right? What's going wrong? So a quarterly snapshot is not enough. And then finally, over here, this is the key piece is, what are the 7 questions to decide whether to develop or replace someone if they're not an A player? Some of this comes from Jim Collins, again, from his book Good to Great, and some of it comes from. So the first question, are you beginning to lose other clients because you're keeping the person in the seat? Notice I'm making the comment about in the seat, because just because they're not an A player in the current role doesn't mean they can't be an A player in a different role. Okay? So part of your quarterly assessment is looking at whether the person is actually in the right function. Yes or no, are we losing people or clients? Secondly, do you have a skills problem, a values problem, or a will problem? By that, do they have the wrong values? If they've got the wrong values, yeah, they're a liar, they're dishonest. You don't want them in the business. If it's a skills problem, that means you need to train. Or is it a will problem? Yeah, they just don't want to do the job. What are we assessing? Next one, do they see what they're doing as a job or a responsibility? So a surgeon, his job to do surgery, or do they see their job as responsible for the health of the patient? Fourth question, what's a person's relationship to the window? Do they lay blame? Or to the mirror, as Jim Collins talks, do they take responsibility? Has your confidence gone up or down in the last year? So even when the person says, I've got it, will you be following up regularly because you don't actually think they've got it? Do you have a bus problem or a seat problem? Are they in the right seat? Or are they not in the right seat? Or should they be on the bus? Should they be in the company door? If the person quits, and I've included giving 3 months notice, would you be relieved or distressed? In the example when I was talking to my client earlier, the client made the comment they'd be extremely distressed if the person left. And then finally, my question, does the person create drama? Yes or no? So if you review those 7 questions, I think you'll see you immediately get a very good idea of what to do if you have a B player who's not performing, or assuming you've got no B, C, and C players. This will immediately help identify your strategy to build the action plan. So every quarter, we should be looking at for every single member of the team, do we challenge, train, or redeploy? And when I say redeploy, internally or leave the company. So as an example, this first one, wrong role, PIP, performance improvement program, redeploy. And based on the performance improvement program, in this case, they didn't perform and the decision was made to redeploy the person out of the company. Does that make sense and does it help?
Yeah, it does. It does. Specifically the framework that you've got there. Yeah, that's good. It puts some objectivity into it. Yeah, no, I like it. Makes sense.
And I think the critical part here is it's a quarterly rhythm, okay, across the whole business. And when I say across the whole business, I've coached CEOs and managing directors from 9 businesses, 900 staff over six down to 10 is the minimum number of staff normally I would take on. And in all cases, we've put this in place, and in all cases, performance of the company has increased significantly. And in 4 cases, the companies involved decided to register for, assess, change, and apply to be best places to work in Australia. And in all cases, they were judged with merit. And in one case, the company with over 6 countries, they in fact were awarded best place to work top 10 in all 6 countries, which was significant. And the CEO, managing directors have all credited this basic framework and the quarterly care, I call it a care program, quarterly care program for their people, as being a significant part of receiving those awards and rankings. Bill, thanks so much.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks, Mohammed. Bye.
Goodbye.